The story takes place in the Babylonian Empire around 670 BC. This is the story of Daniel in the lion's den. Daniel has established himself as a faithful, true, and honest man. He loved the Lord his God. King Darius was pleased with Daniel, and he was chosen as one of the leaders directly under the king. Daniel was such a faithful man that those who looked for a flaw in his actions or his character came up empty. Daniel shined above the other leaders because he had an excellent spirit. The other leaders became jealous and hated him. After examining Daniel's life and finding nothing to attack, they realized they had to make something up against him. Daniel's jealous rivals knew him well. They knew they couldn't delude him into doing anything wrong. His only weakness, they realized, was his unwavering devotion to God. With that in mind, they plotted an evil plan against Daniel. The men came to the king with a lie and said,
"O king, all the important leaders in the kingdom got together and agreed on a new law. It says that for 30 days, anyone who prays to or asks anything from any god or person except you, your majesty, will be thrown into the lion's den."
King Darius agreed to sign the decree because his advisors pressured him. He was also vain and liked the idea of being treated like a god, which this law allowed. He didn't realize it was a trap set for Daniel, a man whom he liked and admired. Even though Daniel knew the new law had been signed, he went home and, as he always did, knelt down 3 times a day, with his windows open toward Jerusalem, and prayed and thanked God. These men, with their evil plan, gathered together and caught Daniel praying as they suspected that he would. They went directly to the king and spoke.
"Didn't you sign a law saying that anyone who prays to or asks anything from any god or person besides you, your majesty, within the next 30 days will be thrown into the lion's den?"
That's right. And according to the unchangeable laws of the Medes and Persians, it can't be changed.
The jealous leaders of Daniel spoke.
"Daniel, one of the Jewish exiles from Judah, is ignoring you, your majesty, and the law you signed. He's still praying to his God 3 times a day."
When the king heard this, he was very upset with himself. He tried everything he could to rescue Daniel. But alas, the king had to punish Daniel according to the decree that he made into law. Then Daniel was thrown into the lion's den. The king said to Daniel,
"Your God, whom you serve faithfully, will rescue you."
They closed the den with a big stone. The king went back to his palace. He spent the night without eating, and no musicians played for him. He couldn't sleep. In the morning, the king ran to the lion's den. When the king reached the lion's den, he called out to Daniel in a sorrowful voice. He said,
"Daniel, servant of the living God, has your God, whom you serve so faithfully, been able to save you from the lions?"
Daniel answered,
"Your majesty, my God sent his angel and closed the lions' mouths so they wouldn't hurt me. I am innocent before God, and I have done nothing wrong to you, your majesty."
The king was overjoyed and ordered Daniel to be lifted out of the den. When Daniel was brought up, they found he wasn't hurt at all because he had trusted in his God.
Daniel 6:1-23. Lessons learned. The importance of unwavering faith in God even in the face of extreme adversity. God's protection when we stand with Him. The importance of prayer. Don't compromise your beliefs. God's sovereignty. God is in control even when circumstances seem dire.